Right, you're watching TVC Breakfast. Let's get into our discussion now. Early in August, the Indigenous People of Biafra declared every Monday a sit at home to push for the release of its founder, Nnamdi Kanu, who is in the custody of the federal government. The proscribed group has now allegedly banned the Nigerian flag in Southeast. It has also declared a sit-at-home protest slated for October 1, Nigeria's Independence Day. It says the decision is to demonstrate against its rejection by the federal government. And the group had on different occasions announced the suspension of the sit-at-home order, but ended up flouting them. This is the crux of our discussion in the next couple of minutes. Joining me in the studio is public affairs analyst Ziggy Ibe. Ziggy, it's nice to have you join me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Great. And I also have social commentator Ambrose Igboke joining me on Zoom from Enugu. Ambrose, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. It's quite a while.
And good morning to Ziggy, my man.
Thank you. Good morning, Ambrose. How are you?
All right. Now, let me start from, excuse me, let me start from the studio, Ziggy. I know you've been following this development. This is not the first time that a sit-at-home order has been called. But the concern is how effective this sit-at-home order becomes at the end of the day. I wonder what you make of all of that.
It's not quite a cherry one anyway. Bringing down the activities of the Southeast in the name of showing alliance or having an alliance with their leader is not a good one. And if you look at the region very well, it's populated by businessmen and women who get their daily incomes by going out every day. If you set out a day like Mondays to observe sit at home, you are denying certain people, if not almost half population of the region, their daily earnings. I think it should be considered the effect it will have on the people first than the action itself. Because the way it is, the people in that region have been denied for too long. And yes, recently it was called off by the group, but the fear of the unknown, should anyone flout that very day, is still gripping the populace in that region. The information coming from that end is not palatable. I think it should be considered worthwhile that you don't deny people their daily livelihood because you want to achieve a particular goal. Yes, go ahead and agitate for self-rule, but there are procedures. There are ways you could do that without denying people or subjecting them to this hardship. A lot of people have suffered a lot of things. Like in the past 2 weeks, we heard of a trailer load of a motorcycle that was burnt at Obukba. Okay? Unfortunately, you are causing pain to individuals you profess to have freedom for. The owner of that vehicle is an Igbo man. The contents therein is owned by an Igbo man. So what that means is that you are inflicting pain on yourself. So to me, it doesn't make sense.
And also infringing on people's constitutional right, movement. The freedom of movement.
Recently, there was this cartoon. Someone who was nailing himself on the cross, and was asking the government, "Are you feeling the pain? the people? Are you feeling the pain? That shows it is self-inflicting. And these people refuse to know that what we are doing is not right. I don't know why they continue doing it. And the point here is that some people have taken it as a job, because even when it was relapsed, coming from the group now, by their spokesperson, Emma Powerful, some people have taken it as a job upon themselves to continue, because they want it continued, because they've started gaining from it. You see the danger from that? So some of these things should be considered. All right.
Let me bring Ambrose in here. Ambrose, you are in Enugu, and would like to feel what it is like, especially the Monday sit-at-home order. What are people saying, and how effective has it been? Can you make us feel the pulse of residents of Enugu State?
Well, first of all, we should know that Enugu is the heartbeat of southeastern Nigeria, from the base of the East Central states that covered basically 4 of the 6 states of South, and the current 5 states of the Southeast. And so anything that affects Southeast and Indigo always vibrates or reverberates in Enugu. Having said that, the sit at home, when we say effective, yes, it has been effective because it has disrupted socioeconomic activities in the zone. Monday morning, which is the day for actually, planning for the week, it's always a very serious day. Businesses and companies and parastatals sit down to plan the week and strategies to implement activities for that week. It's not been disrupted. The first few weeks of the sit-at-home was very, very effective, in the sense that the streets were highly deserted. But we noticed something, that normally, especially in Enugu, in the evenings, activities pick up in the evenings of those Mondays. So, which means that the strategy is to ensure that people don't go to work. And then the fear, in the first few weeks of the
All right, Ambrose, we seem to have lost your audio feed there, but certainly we'll come back to you when we have you back. All right, Ziggy, while we wait for him to come back on, a lot of people who are outside of the Southeast are concerned that, okay, I understand Ambrose is back. Ambrose, if you can hear me, please go ahead. You were making a point.
No, so what I'm saying, that the first few weeks were effective because, in the sense that there was fully sit at home, everybody was afraid, and there were consequences, especially violence unleashed on people who went out. So that fear and palpitation kept people at home. And we have seen, just like the example Ziggy gave, where vehicles were being burnt and the rest. But on the flip side, it was not effective because you are inflicting untold hardship on the people of Southeast. We are just looking at the physical factors like burning of a trailer load or motorcycle. We don't have the statistics of how many people have died because they didn't have access to the hospital. We have not taken statistics of people that would have been saved if they left their home to be attended to for emergency health issues. We have not talked about the colossal loss of money, and because due to lack of economic activities on a Monday. So these things are inflicting serious pain. But there's an argument, a school of thought, that says there seems to be a splinter group in IPOB, because the director of publicity in IPOB has come out to say in the last 3 weeks that they have suspended the sit-at-home every Monday, and that it will now be reserved for the days their leader go to court. But it is very obvious that some elements who seem not to be taking directive from the known leadership are hell-bent on doing their own way. So that is suggestive of the fact that there are some people now who use the name of IPOB, or who are splinter groups in IPOB, have gone on to perpetrate this violence. But from yesterday in Enugu and some other parts of the eastern states, a lot of activities have started coming. But before, when it started, nobody could even go anywhere. Well, at least in the city of Enugu, people have started going out. A lot of us went to work yesterday. When you go to places like Nsukka town,
okay, all right. We'll have Ambrose back now. Ziggy, in all of this, where are the security agencies who are supposed to ensure that non-state actors don't take decisions that control the state or control a part or certain section of the country and all of that?
Do you know the most unfortunate situation we found ourselves? People no longer respect security agencies.
Why is that?
And this was since we had NSAS. Okay? Yes, this would have been a success if security agencies were out to really carry out their constitutionally jobs. But how many people would want to believe that their lives will be guaranteed, or they will not be tortured or beaten or killed should they come out? So the situation here is they wouldn't want to be victims of this problem, because nobody is supposedly to save them should they are caught in the melee. So the huge success of sit at home they are recording now is not necessarily that the people are interested in obeying what is coming from IPOB.
So is that
but the fear
instilled
in them, like he said, so many people have been killed. We don't have the statistics. But if we should, all of us will marvel at the numbers of people who had lost their life in this problem. And the stories goes like that. So nobody will want to be caught up in this because they felt, or they don't have that security that if anything happens to me, I'll be saved. Okay? So that is why it keeps reverberating in the minds of those in that area that, look, don't go out. Even if the government say come out. Because they feel that, yes, government, the agencies are part of the government arm, but they might not save us if we are caught. And, you know, these people keep issuing threats that if you try it, you get killed. And true to their words, they make good their promises. Should you try it, you lose all you have, either your property or your life will go for it. The one at Obupa all went down the drain. Okay, the one that happened yesterday even, we read in the news too, that a truckload of tomato was burnt. Both the truck and tomato were all destroyed. Okay, who pays for that? Who compensate those who suffer these damages? So the point here is the fear instilled in the people still will not allow them to go out their normal businesses, because yes, it has been relaxed coming from the group, but there are people who have infiltrated into the group who sees it as a business to deal with whoever that comes out, and should anybody date them, the person will get hurt. One happened in Imo too, I think about 2 weeks ago, where it was relaxed, and the next Monday some groups came to attack shop owners. I think one of them was killed. So, but what happens after that? Were the shops opened? The answer is no, because there will be no, you will not have the courage to date them, because they are armed. Okay, and they are ready to deal with you should you flout their order.
Okay. Ambrose, I think we have your audio back now. Talk to us basically, when this, for instance, on the Mondays, like Monday mornings, where you say sometimes the sit-at-home order is effective until sometime maybe evening. Are those times in the mornings where anybody who comes out, is either attacked or is either killed? Where are security agencies at times like that?
I think that our security agents are overstretched. We lack, first of all, it's not a secret that the police is understaffed. It is very clear that the ratio of one police to the number of citizens is grossly inadequate. So the police are there, they will man the area they can man. But these non-state actors always find a way of cornering them. For example, if you notice the motorcycle that were burned full load and some of the vehicles that were destroyed during the sit-at-home, you will notice that mostly happen in the fringes of town. Most of them don't happen within town. So like your book, it's a lonely road where somebody was coming from the north, carrying some goods. And apart from the one that happened yesterday, which is not about sit-at-home, but about elections in Anambra State, most of the attacks have been in the fringes of town and satellite settlements around town. So it seems that those places are not properly manned. Within the town itself, though it's a ghost town, but you could still move around. And then there are some satellite towns also that activities, the sit-at-home don't seem to have affected them. They move freely within the vicinity of the city. So the security people, I think, are overwhelmed because these things are happening. Sometimes they even, comply themselves. I mean, you don't see that, they just patrol around town. Sometimes you see them blocking some important road arteries so that you don't have people. Because what happened during the endsars, some people took laws into their hand and were able to have ingress into the metropolis. But what the police, security agencies, the police DSS and others are trying to do is to ensure that those people don't have ingress into metropolis, into main towns.
All right. We lost that audio again. Okay, back to you, Ziggy. I wonder what you see as implications for this consistent sit-at-home order that is kind of becoming a norm if it continues. For instance, now they're talking about the issue of Nigerian flags, flown at half-mast. That, because the much that we know, it is only the government that gives that kind of order. This is an affront against, and that's why a lot of people say it's treasonable, because the flag is the symbol of the entire country. So what are implications going forward when these kinds of orders consistently go on and we're not seeing a decisive action from the federal government?
Without giving them power, without asking them to, or without urging them on, one would have thought government to have put in place enough security arrangements that will convince the people that when you come out, your life is safe. But what do we have? Patrolling the streets of a town doesn't guarantee safety of life, like we've seen. The situation is tense. What that tells you without much information is that if you are caught up in this situation, you might not be saved. The new directive they are issuing now, the new warning they are issuing now, could scale through too, because the government don't seem to be giving enough, it's not really fighting them, but a way of encouraging people to disregard these issues or this directive, because they are not in charge, so to say. Government in a particular state is in charge. So having another group that is issuing a counter instruction or directives is appalling. And the way things are now, people will still obey them because
out of fear.
Yes, out of fear, because already they've achieved largely.
Right.
If you look at the way things are now, next Monday, like Ambrose said, the whole idea is to make sure activities of commercial is brought down, and nobody goes to wherever he gets his
he wants
living.
To go.
Yes,
and which a lot of people see as counterproductive, because
yes,
you say you love these people,
yes.
So why are you stopping them from being prosperous out of their business? So, now, Ambrose, before I let you go, make us understand, because part of this sit-at-home order for October 1 is about solidarity with what is called Ambazonia in southern Cameroon, because they have also had almost the same kind of situation. What's the relationship between the southeast in Nigeria and the southern part of Cameroon, which they call themselves Ambazonia?
Well, I think some people don't know history. There was a plebiscite when Nigeria wanted to get independence, and also when Cameroon was getting independent. And the plebiscite was done, I think, in 1950-something, that asked the people of southern Cameroon whether they wanted to join Cameroon or wanted to join Nigeria as an emerging nation. The people of southern Cameroon voted that they wanted to join Cameroon. So why are we doing solidarity with the people who voted that they wanted to be in a country? So I think it's highly misplaced, because that is it shows that we are not really following our history. So the people of southern Cameroon voted that they didn't want to be part of Nigeria. So what they are now saying about that is what I don't know. And it doesn't matter anyway. After all, there are Yorubas in Benin Republic and other countries. There are Fulani scattered in every African, West African, and Central and North African countries. So it doesn't matter where other people, your people are, that they must not be under one entity. We have Jews scattered all over the world. So that itself means there's a disconnect in the system at which these applications of these instructions are done. And this is symbolic of non-state actors. The issue of not flying flags at half-mast is a very dangerous dimension to the whole issue, because the next thing now, they will graduate to telling people not to hoist the Nigerian flag. That will be the next step if actions are not taken. So what we want, remember what happened about Boko Haram when Yusuf started and all those things, where by the time Jonathan was leaving, we had 17 local governments of this country that were hoisted with foreign flags of terrorist groups. We don't want that to happen in the Southeast. So for me, just like the Senate and the House of Reps caucus of Southeast Nigeria have said, can we find a middle ground to this? The federal government cannot be extreme on the other side and IPOB extreme on the other side. There has to be a way to bring all these people to the table and have a kind of a political solution to this issue, so that the people of the Southeast can be free and go about their normal businesses, and so that they can have a sense of belonging, so that they can have freedom of movement, and they can have security of lives and property.
All right. We have to leave it here now. Thank you very much, Ambrose Igboke, for your insight into this discussion now. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Right. And Zigibe, thank you very much for coming on the program as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.